honored to introduce Senator John Thune. Senator Thune, when he was in the House of Representatives, I mentioned that the bill was authorized, the project was authorized in the Senate, and then it fell upon the House to also get the bill passed, and it really fell on then Congressman Thune's shoulders to make that happen. And it was a Herculean effort, a lot of end-arounds, maneuvering with other congressmen that were blocking the way, but through a lot of persistence got it done. And since he's been in the Senate, has obviously continued that support for the project. So thank you, John, for being here. Let's welcome John Thune.
Thank you, Troy. It's great to be here. This is a day of celebration, and Troy, I noticed earlier that Troy will go to any length to make sure this thing gets done, even giving up a sock to cover up that microphone, the wind muzzle. But, and Red, it's great to have you back here. There were times when we were trying to get this authorized in the House that I thought I was going to need bypass surgery too. But we're glad you're here, and we expect you to be here when it's all completed and we have the final celebration. But this is a historic day, if you think about it, because it's a culmination of literally over 20 years of work by the communities, the state, obviously the federal delegation, and all the participants who are here today who Troy mentioned earlier. This was an incredible partnership and a tribute, I think, to the way that we can get things done, not only here in South Dakota, but perhaps a model for this country. You know, a lot of people around the country think of us out here as sort of the flyover states. It's the, you know, people out here, they don't really need all these things that they have in the bigger cities, but the fact of the matter is that there are people here in South Dakota, farmers, ranchers, small businesses, who contribute mightily to the health and the vitality of our economy and of our nation. And it's important that when we prioritize the things that we're going to do that will contribute to a better quality of life, that we look at those basic infrastructure needs. I've been a big advocate in my time in the Congress for highway infrastructure, water development, all those things that improve the economy, that create jobs, that provide a better quality of life, a better standard of living, that will make it attractive for people to want to live and want to work and want to raise their families right here in South Dakota. This is an example of that kind of a project. And I remember as we were trying to get it authorized in the House of Representatives how terribly difficult it was at the time, but how persistent the members of the board, the people who were behind and driving this, and the passion that they had to do something that was really meaningful for their communities and for their state and for their region. And so we worked diligently to try and get that thing authorized. And I remember when we got it finally authorized, got it through the House, and actually got it passed, believe it or not, after all the you know, trials and tribulations that we went through, and we finally got it voted on in the House. We got over 300 votes for it. But we were also able, when we got it authorized, to get the first funding for it. We worked with the Appropriations Committee in the House of Representatives, and they committed some funding, and that was the first funding stream that was established for this project. And of course, I remember then when then President Bush came to South Dakota in the spring of 2001, meeting with him privately and advocating for presidential funding to get this in the president's budget. And that actually was the first time then the next year that we were able to get the funding established, a funding stream in the president's budget. And of course, that's critically important too, because in Congress, the appropriations committees in the Congress really key on the president's budget. The president's budget sort of sets the tone and the pattern for what the appropriations committees will do later. And then working with the congressional delegation year after year after year to try and get funding to keep this thing on schedule and on track and hopefully on its way to completion. And that's been a very, very difficult time, and particularly here of late. And that's why we have to double down our efforts, as Governor Dugard said, to make sure that the funding that has been started is completed. We're about 65% there, but we got about $195 million that the federal government has yet to contribute to this to make sure that it gets done. And that's going to be a very, very heavy lift in the current budgetary environment that we're in. And that's why we have to be very creative and have to work harder than ever to make sure that we get this done. And so I would echo what Governor Dugard said to the 9 communities who aren't receiving this water, that this is we are declaring victory today. We're declaring victory, but it's only a partial victory. And complete victory won't occur until those 9 communities that don't have that water are receiving that water, and that this project has reached its final completion date. And so we're going to work very hard to make that happen. But it is a great opportunity for us to recognize the milestones that have been reached with regard to this project, and this is certainly one here today. I remember the groundbreaking 9 years ago in 2003 down along the river, and every subsequent step along the way has been a milestone toward the completion of this project. And being here today for the ribbon cutting of the water treatment facility is yet another of those milestones. And so I just say thank you to all of you who have worked so hard, who have toiled just so diligently over the years to make this a reality, to get us to where we are today, and would just, I guess, along with you say, we want to work as hard as we can to make sure that the final job is completed, and we can have that declaration of victory when it's all said and done. So thank you all very much for the opportunity to be here. Congratulations to those who have worked so hard, and thank you so much for giving me the chance to be a part of this great project and this endeavor and what it means for those 11 communities who are already receiving the water and the 9 still to come. Thank you.